Alright, you guys. Stoopzz back in with another video. Now, today is a special day. Today is a very special day indeed. Indeed. I don't know when the last time I used Indeed was. Well, today's special. We have some new hot fixes for you guys that are going to be going into action on September 26th. So while you guys are watching this video, most of these changes have already been put into place. Now, you can only find them here on Wowhead, and I will put a link in the description, but I'm going to go over all of these changes, why I think they're important, and what they actually mean. Now, for many of you guys that are wondering, I did complete my Iron Man challenge. I will be making a video following this video, giving you some of the highlights, my thoughts on the challenge, and where I go next regarding the next healer that I will choose for this Iron Man challenge. But back to today's video, we have some nerfs here. Almost nerfs all across the board except for a few classes, and one in particular that I think you guys will be excited about. So starting off with Druid, we have a lot of Feral Druid nerfs across the board. We have Shred now being nerfed by 25% in PvP situations, Rake being nerfed by an additional 50% in PvP situations. You can see here that I was originally 50% and originally went 100%. So that is a across-the-board damage nerf, and Ferocious Bite was also nerfed in the last hotfix by a substantial amount. And I think this is fair. Feral Druids are doing a lot of damage, almost too much damage, but I don't want to see Feral Druids completely disappear. I feel like as Resto isn't as viable as it used to be, and Boomkins aren't seeing as much play, I want to see some Druid specs doing well within the current meta, but they were doing way too much damage. However, Feral Druids also saw a nerf in their CC capabilities. Enraged Maim now costs 5 combo points, whereas before it was an instant cast requiring 35 energy. It also controls the target for 1 second less, whereas before it was 6 seconds, now it is just 5. The cooldown was also increased from 6 seconds to 10 seconds. Now, I think some of this is warranted because it was so much CC, they were already doing a lot of damage, and Trinket really didn't do much help for you here, because if you trinketed something, you would get stunned, and they would just stun you, then maim you, or maim you, then stun you, and it was a long CC chain for a class that did an absurd amount of damage during Incarn. They also reduced the amount of damage you do when speccing into Lunar Inspiration by 20%, and Ferocious Wound only reduces the maximum health of the target by 15%, where it was 25% before. So you would see comps like Destro, Warlock, Feral, and 1 Chaos Bolt could finish off the target. All of these changes seem really intense, almost too intense for my liking, because I want certain specs, certain classes to be viable. So to see all these changes to the one spec that was really powerful seems a little bit much. Demon Hunters CC was also nerfed. The duration of Imprison has been reduced by 1 second, whereas 4 seconds before, now it is only 3. And when you spec into Detainment, Imprison's cooldown is increased by 15 seconds, making it a 45-second cooldown, where it was 30 before. At least they didn't nerf their damage. I don't think Demon Hunters were extremely overpowered. I know some of you guys hate to hear that, but they're not all over the meta like they used to be, at least in the higher brackets. They're still really, really strong in terms of 7.3, so I think this is a justifiable change. Now let's keep going with the nerfs, and I'll get into the buffs at the very end. Holy Paladin has also seen a nerf. Thank God I finished that challenge. Holy Paladin's Avenging Crusader has been nerfed in terms of damage dealt by 25%. 200% before, now it is 175, which means you'll be healing less when you are in Avenging Crusader. I don't know if I like this change. Now, I know a lot of high-rated players are going to be complaining Holy Paladins are overpowered, but I want healers to be overpowered. Now, I know that sounds biased, but nobody wants to be a healer nowadays anyway. So to consistently keep nerfing healers, especially ones that are just starting to see a lot more play, I think is not a smart overall move. Avenging Crusader really did counter Shadow Priests and Warlocks. Any dot comp, it was healing for quite a bit, but it was actually the Cleanse the Weak talent that I think is much more overpowered, the talent that makes it really difficult for any rock comp to do any pressure when fighting against the Holy Paladin. Again, I want more and more people to play healers, so I don't want to see too many changes regarding healers. I just want to see buffs or keep them the way they are. Try and change some of the mechanics rather than just straight numbers. However, they are nerfing Resto Shamans as well, so I think this status kind of balance it out, because Resto Shamans have been really strong for a long time, and Paladins were finally starting to catch up and see a lot more play. Regarding Resto Shamans, Earth Shield now reduces all damage the target takes by 10%, whereas 15% before. Earth Shield was really, really strong, but again, it's so stressful to be a healer, especially at a low rating, so I relate to a lot of you guys out there. I know many of you guys hate being a healer, but at high ratings, you'll see a lot of people complaining about how strong Earth Shield is. It's too hard to kill anything when they have Earth Shield, but nerfing all these healers, I don't know how I feel about it. Destruction Warlocks have also seen some nerfs, but potential buffs. Chaos Bolt's damage has been reduced by 10%. That thing was hitting super hard. Focus Chaos, which is the talent you spec into to buff your Chaos Bolt damage, has also been reduced by 10%, going down to 65%. Firestone Critical Strike chance has been reduced also by 10%, going down to 65%. However, their overall intellect has been increased by 6%. So this seems to be more of a consistent damage change, trying to improve the Destruction Warlock's overall consistent damage versus that insane Chaos Bolt one-shot potential. I don't know if this is going to hurt Warlocks too bad. I still think you're going to see a lot of Destro Warlocks, but I'll get to that in a moment. However, we're all here for one reason. Well, I hope some of you are. Mistweavers. Mistweavers are getting some buffs finally. Now, there's going to be a ton of noobs out there that are going to say Mistweavers are so annoying. They're so overpowered. Mistweavers are cancer. They're too strong in BGs. Now, this might change how strong they are in RBGs. However, they are buffs, and I'll get to it at the end. Versatility has been increased by 5% in PvP situations. Their armor has been increased by 10% in PvP situations. Mana regeneration has been increased by 5%. Now, this was recently nerfed in the past, so I'm surprised they're bringing it back, but I hope it does make the change necessary to help Mistweavers stay in the fight a little bit longer. They go way too fast. And Life Cocoon has been increased by 10% in PvP situations. Now, this is just the absorb factor of it, how much damage it absorbs. I think every patch should have this exact change, because as the patch rolls on, as item levels start to scale, people start doing a lot more damage, and towards the end of every season, every patch, the Cocoon Shield becomes so weak, and it does scale with dampening, so it absorbs absolutely nothing. So I think this is the right change. Push me to the edge. All my friends are dead. So I think this is the right change at the right time. Now, with Holy Paladins getting nerfed and Shamans getting nerfed, you might see a little bit more Mistweaver play. There are no changes here to Wave the Crane. With these dot comps, these caster comps doing extremely well, you might see a lot of Mistweavers running that Wave the Crane spec a lot more often. You might see them start to use their healing spheres as well, because that does counter Shadow Priests, as well as Affliction Warlocks. And with this increased mana regeneration, Wave the Crane becomes a little bit more viable, especially with their armor being increased and their overall versatility and survivability. So I'm happy to see these changes. I hope you guys are too. Mistweavers are finally getting a buff, that this will help their overall viability, and you will see some more Mistweaver play, and I'll let you guys know what I think once I test it out. So what does this mean for the overall meta? Well, a lot of you guys may or may not know, the melee cleave has been starting to shift out, and I'm starting to see a lot more casters. There still is Walking Dead and these other really annoying melee cleaves to fight, and in fact, I prefer playing in a caster meta. I think it's a lot more fun, a lot more engaging, a lot more to look out for, and it helps the overall feel of the game. When casters are doing well, you still have those melee classes that are also doing well. So I want to see this kind of gameplay. I want to see more casters being included, and I'm happy that we're phasing out of the melee meta. It's been going on for like 2 patches now. It's not fun to play against. It's really stressful for the healer, and it just feels like Cheese City. So what do I think about all these nerfs and changes? Well, Demon Hunter CC is getting nerfed a little bit, but I don't think that makes too much of a change. Feral is definitely getting nerfed, so I do not know where they're going to go from here. But there was no changes to Windwalkers. There was no changes to DK, so you'll probably see a lot more of those again. I think Demon Hunter Warrior will still be a thing. Oh, I hate that comp. But again, I was saying that a lot more casters are seeing play in the current meta in 7.3 as of 9/25/17. That's the date for you guys if you're not familiar. And you were seeing a lot of Shadow Priests, a lot of Destruction Warlocks, and a lot of Elemental Shamans. And those classes were coupled with Holy Paladin as well as Resto Shaman. So you might start seeing them being coupled with Mistweavers. I'm not exactly sure. I think I'm just tired. The class that I enjoy playing so much, getting these decent buffs just to get nerfed again and then becoming complete and utter shit because they're just stat differences rather than mechanical changes. But even though Destro was nerfed, there was no Shadow Priest changes. There was no Ellie changes, and Demo was doing well when coupled with either of those casters. So Shadow Priest Destro might not be as popular as it once was, or doing well as it is currently, but you're gonna see a lot more Ellie gameplay. Ellie Shadow Priest, Ellie Demo, Shadow Priest Demo, Elemental Shaman Shadow Priest, Double Ellie, Shadow Priest Affliction. Any of those classes, if you throw them together, it's gonna make a really solid comp, and I guarantee you will still see Destruction Warlock Shadow Priest. And those comps do so well against any double melee comp. But overall, I'm happy about these changes. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know if you like the caster meta. Let me know if you missed the melee meta. Let me know if you're bummed out about Feral Druids. Let me know if you're scared about Walking Dead making another return for the fucking like 12th time. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But again, that's gonna do this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you have any more questions about these changes, you can leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you guys right away. Try not to miss me on my YouTube live stream where I answer all of your guys' questions in depth. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.